Welcome back to my channel, everyone. And this is the first actual video I am recording for this year. And to start it off, why not do a collab to just for the new year? And here I am with another fandom person, like I am, big ol' movie watcher, the Chipmunk170.
Hello, what up, Dom? Glad to be here.
Today we are going to be doing a horror top 10 of 2024.
It'll be fun. Definitely going to enjoy this. I love trying to pick my brain out and figure out what I feel like is the best horror films, and love talking to people about what is the best horror film. Compare, contrast. It's always in good fun.
Always, and a whole bunch of interesting just picks that come out of it also, I will say.
Yeah.
So how do you want to start this off? From 10, I believe.
You want to go with honorable mentions, and then they didn't go into the top 10 that we picked.
Let's have you start it off. Why not?
Right. So we're gonna go into honorable mentions. I have a few. I really like. This is on the last bit. I would say my top 9 to honorable mentions were kind of difficult to pick out. But as far as my honorable mentions, I have Mr. Crockett, which was the Hulu movie. It was saying Mr. Crockett was kind of like your Mr. Rogers type of deal. Which I was like, I don't know why that was one I really did like from Hulu horror stuff. A lot of their stuff was usually is okay, not spectacular, but usually is okay for me. But I think Mr. Crockett, I like the actor. I think he did an excellent job, and like it definitely was enjoyable. It's a lot of stuff that I wish they would have done better with the film, but I feel like the actors, the puppets, everything when it came to bringing out some of the interesting and gore portions of the film were pretty good. Just some of the stories just didn't click too well, which I'm a big story person.
And you said it was a Hulu original, or
It was on Hulu when it came out. It came out earlier in 2024. I really did like. Uh, 'Cause I tend to try to go for vampire stuff and try to watch vampire stuff, and I think the actors did a great job. I kind of had a debate with somebody about some of the stuff with the actors, but I thought the actors did a great job for the film. But there was a little bit of hang-ups and stuff I didn't so much like with it. That's why it's in the honorable mentions more than it is like the exact top 10. Um, but Abigail I thought was very enjoyable. Enjoyable than I think a lot of decent stuff put forward.
Dan Stevens? Yeah, he was in that cast in that film, the actor, and he was in quite a few other films this year that he's gonna be popping up on my list. I think here also a bit, but yeah, he's played a lot of horror films this past 2024. I've noticed, or these films within like some sort of horror category.
Oh yeah, and in a violent nature, that one I know some people probably be surprised about, and that was in my top 10 at first, but I had to move it down a bit because I was like after thinking about certain stuff, I was not spoil anything, but I was kind of disappointed with the ending of it.
Really?
I liked what they were trying to do with the film. I like watching the whole film through their point of view and just kind of go through all the things. It was kind of the pacing was kind of like off for it, and some of the choices when it comes to I'm just say eliminating some of the in the film weren't the best choices I think, but I did like the way they were trying to go about it and trying to do a whole just viewpoint of your serial killer's viewpoint when it comes to everything or your monster. I don't know what you would call him exactly. It's not
Right.
living, but yeah.
I'll say, yeah, I think they already announced
Yeah,
also a sequel for that.
yeah, I heard about that, and I was like, because enough critics and stuff like this, I think enough people liked it. They did pretty decent, but I was like, that one, I would have liked it to been on my list. like that has to knock down for certain other films.
Were the kills worth it in the film?
Some of them were pretty interesting. Some of them, especially, I'm not spoiling it again, but there was one on the cliff.
Yep, I heard. I believe that one's. I believe it's so gruesome that a lot of people were just over. It was overkill.
But I like some of those though. I think that's my favorite thing when it comes to just some of the slasher movies and stuff. When it comes to just interesting eliminations and stuff of characters, I tend to go for that. It has some really good ones and then some really bad ones when it comes to eliminations. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
enjoyable enough.
With the sequel, hopefully they can either look back at maybe what people didn't like, or they'll just continue on with what they're doing, make it like a nature video, but with a few gruesome things in between.
Oh yeah, we definitely see. Hopefully they do change up a bit of stuff when it comes to things. Because I was like, you could by the ending, I was like, you can't make a sequel out of it. It's just I wish they didn't open it like that.
Yeah.
But I think I have one more.
I have 3 on my list.
Immaculate. Yep. I was like, I didn't mind Immaculate. That one was pretty entertaining. Out of all the horror movies, it's just like, because I said that at the beginning of the year when I was talking about upcoming horror films. I was like, there's a lot of none.
Yeah. A lot in the recent years.
Nun movies.
Not kind of like the only ones I actually really enjoyed were actually the Conjuring, demonic Valak nun.
Yeah, I'm like it's a lot of this stuff that drives around the nuns, or if they get pregnant and
Rosemary's like, Baby kind of.
That nation. Yeah, and I was like, this is back to back of the same type of. But I was like, this one wasn't bad. It wasn't the best out of the ones that came out. But it wasn't bad. Immaculate was enjoyable of a horror film.
Yeah.
There was another horror film that came out before it. Was a little worse than Immaculate. It was derived around a nun as well.
I think there's the first Omen came out that around that same time, which is I don't know if that one dealt with the convent.
It did, not in the same way. But that one came after Immaculate. The first Omen was when it came out, it just came after. But those are all my honorable mentions. Yeah, they didn't make the grade, but they still were entertaining enough. As far as the top 10, I have number 10 is Alien Romulus. I like Alien Romulus enough. It's not high on my list just because I felt like they did the aliens a little disservice by just how awful they were of killing the main character. He had other stipulations. I would have liked it, but I was like, it makes him look so weak going against her.
Yeah, Alien Romulus. That's interesting.
Like,
that's wow. That's your number 10. That mine. I guess I put it a little bit. It's more mid, I guess, for me in my list.
It was entertaining though, and I tend to like Alien. I thought didn't do a horrible job whatsoever. I thought it was good enough, but it's just I like the characters of like the aliens and stuff, and the same with Predator.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm always rooting more for them to do to do better in the films and taking out people and stuff. I'm always rooting more for them than I guess the main characters, but there was a lot of great and interesting shots, and I like some of the callbacks.
True, there's a lot of hidden stuff in the film. There's an Easter egg that not a lot of people know of. I don't know if you know of the Easter egg that's in the film. It's a very big Easter egg.
Was it the one dealing with? Cause it was a whole bunch. I was like, I don't think I'll be able to pinpoint it.
It deals.
As far as it.
Yeah, it deals with Ripley.
It didn't involve the robot, right?
Not the Ian. Not the one that's like looking like Ian Holm.
Yeah, it didn't deal with him. Okay. So I was like, there's a lot of callbacks and stuff from that robot.
Yeah, I think I'll bring that up when I bring up Alien Romulus, I
Oh,
think.
yeah. I was like, I did like a lot of the callbacks when it comes to the machines, how they like use different stuff and technology. The were the same from back then in Aliens, or the first Alien movie. There was a lot of just interesting stuff that they did implement, and I was like, I'm glad that they paid attention because that's one thing I do like when it comes to being remakes or sequels and stuff like that or prequels.
Yeah.
Um, I like that they do pay attention to the work that came before it, and they actually emulate a lot of the stuff that was those films. So, but it's sadly enough number 10.
I mean, it made your list, though. Hey.
Yeah, it was a battle. It definitely was a battle. So it's like the last few were definitely a battle for me.
Yeah, I had to make some last
Number
minute changes myself.
number 9 is another like sci-fi horror for myself, and that one was A Quiet Place, Day One. Um, no, a lot of people didn't like it as much as I did, but I think it was more personal for me than it was the reason why I liked it so much. Because of her dealing with cancer and everything and trying to fight through it. Kind of remind me of my cousin passed away. Um, you know, just the struggle and stuff of just dealing with trying to do a whole bunch while fighting.
Right.
And also, just, and I think that's the reason why it just jumps up higher, so high on my list, because it's like I love the story of it. And some people didn't like I forgot his name, the male actor. And some people didn't like him in the film. But I was
Joseph
like, I
Quinn?
didn't mind him. That was his name. The one who just tried to rescue the cat in a crazy situation. Where the cat went onto the beams and the building.
Yep.
And he had to go and try to rescue it. I was like, I would have just left the cat. I don't know.
That scene, that was an interesting scene. The most sci-fi we've seen out of like the 3 movies, I think, was like that one's just the background of it all.
I was like, I would have been too scared to try to even get to the cat in that whole moment.
Oh, the face-to-face moments they have. I'm like, man, how is your like you're not making a sound like right when it's just so close to you. It's like, dude.
Yeah, it was enjoyable though, but I tend to see like the sci-fi horror is not like that big in as far as horror. That's why they kind of moved down on my list as well. But I really did like A Quiet Place Day One. Like, it was enjoyable. And Lupita, I think she did.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah.
Playing that character. It was so. Yeah. Number 8 I have was Smile 2. Which I was like, I was gonna do like the call because I was like, out of that one, I was like, Smile 2 was the good film out of like I forgot M Night Shyamalan's film he had with his daughter.
The Watchers, or there's that one came out.
The one he directed.
Oh, Trap.
With Trap. I felt like this it's just as far as just things that derived around like an artist and stuff as far as just a movie and stuff goes. I think they did a way better job with displaying and showcasing than they did when it came to everything. But it still wasn't bad. It's like both of them come out during the same year, and I was like, yeah Smile was way better at displaying a lot of stuff that especially feels of an artist and what they were going through. I think she did an excellent job, and I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, she does remind me a lot of Lady Gaga, a lot.
Her look was a bit, yeah.
But I was like, she did an excellent job with playing a role. It's a lot of things. I was like, I think that people don't know is as far as just what artists and stuff go through when it comes to just the pop genre. And I feel like they didn't give a lot, but they gave enough as far as just how and what they deal with, and what kind of like psychological
definitely
also can bring.
Smile. I would definitely think psychologically. and like that. It's more definitely like a psychological horror for sure. It's kind of like It Follows in a way, like kind of entities that you just don't like the horror where it's like the psychological where you don't see the entity in a way, but like it's there.
Always haunting you, no matter what.
Yep.
So I was like, they did an excellent job with it. I did enjoy it. It didn't bother me though, because there were some things that bothered me with the film. But one of the things I had the question of asking you: how did it pass on to the druggy friend that went to at the beginning of it? I was so confused. I'll probably cut some of it out as far as the
Wait, re-say that
spoiler
again?
warning if y'all don't have spoiler warning. You know, at the beginning of the film where he goes to the drug house.
Yeah.
And the entity gets passed on to him. How did it get passed on to him after?
If I'm not mistaken, the entire thing about the entity transferring on is that someone alive nearby has to witness it, I believe.
Yeah. And my whole thing was, didn't see him outside to witness. The only person I've seen that actually saw him when he did die was the drug dealer or whatever.
Yeah.
When the police officer got hit, the drug dealer was inside the room. That was chasing him. He watched him, but it didn't pass on to him. It passed on to the other person that was inside the house. So I was like, I don't know how that happened. I was like, I did not catch that.
That's something I actually wouldn't have even thought of. Because, yeah, I was just thinking of just the normal, just it being something you witness, and that's how you get it possessed upon you. And that is especially with how, yeah, that's like that's an interesting. That's like the one rare, I guess, like instance, in a way.
Like I felt like they might have cut something out to where he maybe was outside or had seen him from outside, but they never did show it. As far as when I rewatched it, I couldn't see that he saw him getting hit by the truck. But I was like, I don't know. But the one person that they did show who should have saw him was the person who was chasing him, which was a whole different person. I was like, I don't know.
Maybe they might. Maybe there could be a different sort of cut of the film they have. Because that sounds like it is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some of those nuances that bothered me, and I pushed it back on. So I was like, I get bothered by like some things of like, this is y'all layout of how everything works, but I'm not seeing how it works.
Well, it definitely can just deal with the type of stuff they're cutting out. Like a lot of these movies, like they do take out just a whole bunch of core scenes that at least blends other scenes into each other.
Most definitely. Or they, especially with trailers, they try to add stuff and trick you to believe in certain stuff, you know, happening when it's not. But, yeah, hopefully they do show it in behind the scenes or something like that, or some type of exclusive for it. I would like to know exactly what happened.
Right.
Be out a lot. But yeah, that's one of the, like, some of those nuances is what made it go up to number 8, or down to number 8, I should say. It still was enjoyable. I still liked it a lot, though.
I mean, it's definitely an improvement over the first film a bit.
Oh yeah. Number 7 was The First Omen. Which was surprising to me because I did actually enjoy The First Omen a lot. More than I thought I would. Because I was like, there was a lot of interesting stuff that they added to it, and then the callbacks for the Omen movie in previous. So I was like, this being a prequel for that and everything of how everything just went down. I did like a lot of their decision making. That's why I was like, paying attention to the source material always works, and I think it worked very well in their favor for First Omen.
Of Ralph Ineson as Father Brenner. Great choice because first of all, the actor's been in recently Nosferatu and The Witch, whole bunch of horror, like gothic type, like kind of. I guess I would consider like in a way films that deal with like convents and like nuns in a way almost like dealing with like a gothic setting. Sometimes I guess.
Yeah, that's what they tend, to, especially like The Witch and stuff. They all feel like it's just more gothic horror, but they tend to have really interesting and fun stories though. One thing I do like about those stories is always on point. Number 6 is, I would say, speaking of Nosferatu, it is that. Number 6 is Nosferatu for me. It just recently came out. That's the reason why we had to hold on to
The last major
trying to
horror.
put out the list, because I was like entertaining and fun. I enjoyed it. I thought I like those period pieces too.
Oh,
I think they
definitely.
did such an excellent job when it comes to all the actors and stuff when it comes to portraying like the old English and sounding, even though they're supposed to be in Germany, but sounding and everything. I thought they did an excellent job with that. So yeah, just the look, the shot. Bill Skarsgård did such an excellent job. I would have never thought that was him.
It does not look like him, like at all. Like first of all, it's the special a mix of just both the special effects and the makeup artists. Like Count Orlok just does. First of all, I don't want to know if it's not that much of a spoiler, but I was not expecting facial hair. Like
I wasn't either. Yeah, it was a lot that they added to him, and how older they made him look.
Sounded amazing though.
How grotesque.
When he was speaking, he had like just a certain like roll of the tongue with like every word he said.
Yeah, I was like, if I didn't know that was Bill Skarsgård already, I would have never been able to tell from voice, everything. It's just so different from him, and I like that when it comes to actors that can just portray certain roles so well. And I was like, I feel like he's so underrated when it comes to that, playing these type of characters.
Yeah, he's done really great works for like he rose to a lot of prominence ever since he did Pennywise, and then now like doing Nosferatu and like other little things he's been in. Like he's outstanding. It's because first of all, like half the time you don't know it's him until like the very end or whenever they're showing the credits.
That's exactly it. You never know until the credits happen. It's like, oh, okay, this is the person. Good.
But he's definitely probably going to be eyed for an award or something, I bet.
He needs to. I was like, if he doesn't, I'll be very disappointed.
Right. This film I heard was just very mixed with the people, because I work at a movie theater, and so hearing like people coming out of the rooms, and it's very mixed bag with people, because it's not the film that they're just going into expecting just a normal vampire film, which it's not.
At all. But I like that. I like that it's not like a normal vampire film, and that's what I think I enjoyed a lot about it. Is just the risk taking as well when it comes to a film, especially when it comes to. I say this a couple of times on different videos, but it's like when it comes to choices of, especially when it involves kids, and just seeing the visually what happened to them was just like, don't see that in horror often.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I always applaud people on their bravery of trying to show something that will shock the audience so much. I feel like that's what they've done a lot in the film, was just shock the audience a lot, as far as Nosferatu.
I'll say the casting at least helps with the film.
Oh yeah, they all did such an excellent job with it. So impressed, I think. All of them were so impressive. They get some acknowledgments and awards.
Hopefully.
Because that was just good. Not too.
With the movie award season coming up.
No. Oh yeah. They're nominated for like some Golden Globes, I believe.
Probably, hopefully, like makeup.
Number 5, I had Cuckoo, and again, it's one of those movies that really shocked me when it comes to the story. I was not expecting it to go certain ways. And I love just thinking about the stories and where they were going with it, and then possibly, without them explaining it, possibly who certain characters are and who they were to certain people. Because because I was like, it's a lot that they didn't say, but it's a lot that they did imply that I did like. But I thought Cuckoo was such an interesting film to where it's just, I was never expecting it to be that way. I thought it was gonna be just some type of crazy, just kind of like in a slasher type feel. I was not expecting it to go the certain route that they went with it.
There's only one thing I'm disappointed in, at least with the marketing, that the marketing said about the film. Yeah. And I'll get into that because Cuckoo it's on my list. It's on my top 10 also.
The marketing was disappointing for it, and I think that's why I didn't. Like a lot of people weren't going to the theaters for it.
Yeah.
They just did a better job with that, but it was. I would say it was a really interesting and fun film. Next I had was Outside. This one I forgot what it was on. But Outside was a post-apocalyptic horror film. I can't remember what country real quick because I was like I forgot what country it was in. Horror film.
Philippines. Okay.
But yeah, that one was actually pretty good because I liked the story of how they displayed the characters. It's another one that's very just character based with the story, but it's just basically father, he is trying to protect his family. He takes his family to his parents' house, which his parents are both on during the movie. But he's trying to protect his family. There's zombies and stuff that's happening, or some type of infection, or and he's doing his best to keep his family alive, but he goes kind of crazy trying to do that, and he doesn't want his family to leave, and they want to leave and all this other stuff, but he prevents them from leaving.
Sounds a bit psychological.
Yeah, it's psychological, and you have the stuff with the zombies and betrayal and all this stuff. There's a lot of dramatic stuff to it, and I was like, if you do it right, dramatic stuff can work so well in a horror film. Yeah. And I think that's other things I did like with it is just the characters, how they were in the film, and then again, like some of the unexpected moments, surprising moments, and that's like I really do like those movies that just surprises you with every turn. And Outside was the one I think was very surprising. Number 3 was Terrifier 3.
Nice.
Interesting enough.
3 for 3.
Terrifier 3 is just, I feel like it's in an element of its own, and if you like the type of movies that they do, you will enjoy it. So I was like, I feel like it's just, Terrifier is just Terrifier. It's like, it's not going to be for everyone, and I understand it's not going to be for everyone. But Terrifier 3 to me is just entertaining and stuff that I do typically like of just another like broad, like they're very bold and stuff of what they try to do. Very adult when it comes to a horror film, but they just seeing some of the stuff, grotesque stuff and gruesome stuff is always just going to be on point with them. And they did another excellent job when they come to all the gruesome stuff. I think when it comes to horror slashers at that. But I was like, I like the stories that they were going with it. I can't wait for the next one. So I'm very, very into the story that they have.
Do you think they upped it up from the second film, from the kills?
Yes. I say yes, just because I feel like it was way more, and they were doing way more when it comes to kills. But I was like, I still don't think that they topped the one from the second one with old girl when they made it to her house in the bathtub and everything. I was like, that one was crazy, part 2. But the third one was pretty insane with even another one that dealt with elimination of kids and stuff that you normally don't get in horror films. Yeah. Like, everyone's being bold this year when it comes to taking out anybody and everybody. But yeah, I thought it was enjoyable, especially for Christmas, another just Christmas one.
That's true. Unfortunately, I feel like the marketing should have made it more around Christmas instead of Halloween.
It definitely should have. Because it definitely was a Christmas feel to it, I would say. I'm like, Christmas is all around it. If you go with Die Hard as a Christmas movie, you definitely go with it. Yeah, I did enjoy Terrifier 3 was entertaining. But that's just what I'm just a big fan of.
Yeah.
Of him. Number 2, I have Strange Darling.
for
That's
that
another
one.
like big surprise. I think people don't usually pick as high. It's another one where I like not knowing certain things and then being surprised at the end of how stuff just turns out. 'Cause I love being shocked in the film, and they did an excellent job to me of just shocking. The chapter thing can be annoying for some people. I don't mind it. It's just telling us where the placements and stuff are when it comes to the film, which I was like, I think worked. But I like Strange Darling a lot just because of the shot, story, and the acting for it. Because I think a lot of the everyone did like a good job of it, and being not able to tell exactly who these people are in certain points of the movie until you actually see their personalities come out way later works really really well. 'Cause, but and it's after craziness after craziness, and that's when you just figuring out, oh my god, this is they did what they yeah.
I say I need to check that one out. I think Hulu just released that one on their streaming recently.
Yeah, I think they did. So I was like, I just did enjoy that a lot more than I think other people did. Strange Darling was interesting to me. I don't know if I would buy it, but I enjoyed it a lot. Like if there was a DVD of it, I don't know if there is. I wouldn't buy it, but I would have watched it several times.
Right.
So I definitely would watch it again on Hulu. Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely recommend it. But it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. I think it didn't do well with audiences, but it did better with critics. It just depends on people's taste, I believe. But I thought it was really entertaining. And my number one, Late Night with the Devil. That one has been my top horror film since it came out, and I was like, I don't know if anyone's gonna top it. And so far, it's like I thought Nosferatu was, and I was rooting for Nosferatu the whole time. Made like a couple of videos on Nosferatu, so I was like, I want this to be the big one for the year. And still feel like Late Night with the Devil was more of a surprise than Nosferatu was when it comes to the story and everything they were going for it. Even though they switched from like the found footage type of deal, or the where they was using most of the camera work from the teleprompters and stuff like that, to regular just shooting of the cameras on certain things. But I thought they did very, very well when it came to the story, the actors. It's another one that is very surprising when it comes to figuring out what exactly is going on and what happened. I think as far as this ghost and genre and stuff goes, or not ghost genres, but I don't know why
The Supernatural?
I'm blanking on the term for them. They take over someone's body.
Possession.
Possession. There you go. Out of Possession film. Possession films, they did an excellent job when it comes to that. I thought, because I definitely wasn't thinking that was going to be the case. Yeah, I think it was the best Possession film of the year.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting also because just the way they also combine it with just something that's so popular with America on like TV, like the late night shows. Like imagine something like that with like Fallon or Kimmel or just something like that. That'd be insane.
Oh yeah. And if you would have seen that on TV, you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I would definitely be watching Jimmy Fallon a lot more."
Oh yeah.
If I seen something like that happen.
He'd be the number one late night host then.
Right. But it was. I enjoyed that as far as I would buy it. I would watch it all the time. It's one of the things I think was pretty good as far as the horror film. Yeah, but I always go for more of the stranger stuff, or it's just ones that people don't tend to go for as much. So that is my list, and I will mark yours as well, so we can also compare and contrast.
My honorable mentions at the bottom is The Watchers. Unfortunately, it is the first film, I believe, the directorial debut of M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, who made a fantasy horror film that deals essentially with Irish fairies. Which, spoilers. This film, it had what it could go for, but I wish the creature designs were good, but I wish the actual creatures of the Watchers, these fairies, were shown much longer than what they were shown. It was very brief in a couple scenes, and then halfway through the film, we are out of the forest and in the city trying to figure out some more mystery stuff going on. And I feel like this film lacked in what it was trying to go for, especially with the marketing. The marketing was it was very good, I thought, a bit, with at least how ominous the story looked, but overall film, to me, just didn't make it that high up as I wish it could have. So it's just in my honorable mentions right there.
I liked the concept of the story.
I wish there was a bit more to it. Immaculate is on my honorable mentions also. This film had a good, I guess, concept of the type of horror they were trying to go for, in a way, especially with the slight science, like little science stuff that was going on in the film, mixing with the religious genre of horror. But I feel like the film in the end, especially the final scene, like it's all we're relying on shock for what we're to expect, and we don't get to really see a lot of things play out as I feel like the story could have for Immaculate. And this is a project that Sydney Sweeney herself like bought the story of and produced for like almost pretty much 10 years now. And I don't know if the final product is exactly what she was hoping for, but I feel like there was a lot of stuff lacking for this, especially with it being psychological horror also, at least with what it's marketed as. It was very strange with how they were doing the psychological stuff. Not a lot of stuff really gets explained in the end either. It's just we're going along for the ride with her and her character until like the very final moment, like what she does.
Yeah, it definitely was missing a lot when it came to the story. I felt, but it wasn't as horrible as some of the other ones.
Right, like it's watchable. I would rewatch it more.
It definitely wasn't missing a lot.
And then my the last film I have on my honorable mentions is a film called Sting. It's a spider horror movie that came out earlier this year. I saw it as like a mystery film in theaters. That a lot of some theaters do that, like just a mystery film. And this film had a good premise. I saw the trailer before I even saw it in theaters, but I was expecting more sci-fi stuff, or I guess like the movie Infected or something. It came out on Shudder. But Sting, like it started off like pretty much like a sci-fi film, because the alien, like the spider, it's an alien, and there's things I feel like the story didn't continue off of that. It just turned into a normal spider film, like horror, and there's a lot of stuff that I wish the film could have gone further into, but I did enjoy the story of what they were doing in the end. But it ended up at least in my honorable mentions.
I think the comedy worked well.
The comedy worked, but a lot of the stuff was unfortunately shown in the trailer too.
Right.
But yeah, the comedy, it works as a good horror comedy, creature feature. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions for 2024. My top 10 horror of this past 2024. At the bottom, I saw the TV Glow. This film, it comes from A24, and it has Justice Smith as like the lead actor. This film had a good concept of it being a psychological horror, and it pretty much being a horror that deals with reality. And this film also, I found out, is a second film in a trilogy. The first film being called We All Go to the World's Fair, I believe. This film is like almost like a sequel, but not. But it's supposed to deal with a whole thing of weird reality, psychological horror. But this film, like, it made my top 10 just because of, I guess, the concept and I guess the visual storytelling. But it made just number 10 because of Justice Smith's acting. I did not enjoy his acting in this movie at all.
I think it's funny because it's a couple of projects that he's been in that people tend to not like his acting.
Like this is the first one
Yeah,
like I did not actually
I think he's a
enjoy.
certain taste.
It was just the way he was, like it's also I guess the way they made his character. I was kind of mad about that, and it just was a little frustrating to watch him. But the the story and everything else was very well done, I thought. But him, I just had a very hard time watching. But everything else I've seen him in, I've had no problem. But this one is just the way they made his character, and just the way he would just the acting was just off for some reason to me. But at number 9, I have Maxine, which is the third and final film in a trilogy for the X from Ty West. And this film, unfortunately, didn't make it higher. I'm one of my favorite slasher films is X, and for this film to make it kind of low on my list is just a little disappointing for me. Like I was hyping this film up all year long, um, just trying to get people to watch it, and this film just didn't have that same feel as the first two films, as X and Pearl. Maybe it's because we're not in the same like location as the first two films, and we're in a bigger area, more of a cast, um, bigger name cast also, like having Kevin Bacon, Giancarlo Esposito in it, like big cast. But this film, just the way they did, so I guess it had to deal with the pacing, I guess, a bit also with this film. The pacing was a little off for me, and then the kills. I wish they did the kills a bit better, and then the whole reveal at the end of the film could have been done more better. But
Yeah, I was so confused with the ending a bit because of how comical it felt. Like it was supposed to be too comical. I'm guessing
yeah,
they were going with Maxine. I was like, it just seemed too off to me.
that's how I felt. It's just so it didn't. I don't know. I don't know if I had to deal with just it being definitely a different film than X and Pearl, but it didn't have that same formula taste that X and Pearl had. But it made it on my list just because I do like the franchise or the series. I guess I should say enough, and just Mia Goth. I get her acting was phenomenal in it, so I do give it that number 9 spot. I'll, I'll own that. At number 8, this one kind of surprised me. I was thinking about putting this in honorable mentions, but it's Beetlejuice. I was never
Ah,
really a fan of like the original Beetlejuice movie. Like it was never something I was hyped up for. Like this movie, I wasn't hyped up for too much either. I pretty much Jenna Ortega was the only thing that interested me in Willem Dafoe. Another Willem Dafoe movie that he was in. But this film just I had a very good theater experience.
yeah, I like Beetlejuice. The first one. There's another like gothic one that I tend to just enjoy those kind of weirder films. But I was like, I didn't watch Beetlejuice because I wasn't planning on going to the theaters to watch it. But I do have it saved to watch. Just haven't watched it yet. But I was like, it was one of those things where it's like they didn't really market it enough for me to care
Yeah.
for it. But I I am still like a still fan of like Beetlejuice the original. Didn't care for the cartoon that much.
Like the actors in it, I thought were good casting, and just the song choices. Like Monica Bellucci's, she has this just one scene that was really good when they're introducing her in. Like that's something I won't forget for like a movie theater experience. Number 7, I have Long Legs, which came from Neon this past year, with Nicolas Cage. Um, this film was a little interesting. I made like a little 3-part video series in a way, I guess, trying to review this movie, and if it's almost a little bit all over the place, but I had a really good time with this being like some sort of investigation horror, and just Nicolas Cage. I thought he was just wacky, just of a character. just to see on screen with him. This film just though very interesting story. I thought with the marketing I thought was phenomenal with the different little teasers. They felt coded almost, very weird. But the film, for me, I went and saw it with two other people, and it was very much of a blast. At least seeing with other people for sure, and being able to talk about it right afterwards. Because what a film! I thought right after seeing it, like I needed to talk about it with someone. So I'm glad I saw it with people. Um, but yeah, Long Legs was a very interesting one for it, and it's I was almost thinking about putting it higher on my list, but thinking more on the story and just I guess also how the movie just ended. It just abruptly. Um, it's just kind of a bit lower on my list at number 7, but I had a really good time with this one.
I think it's interesting with Long Legs. I had made a video on Long Legs before it came out, and it blew up
Yeah, I think I
for
saw that
whatever
one.
reason it blew up for, and then the comments I got after the movie came out, because I was like, I felt like critics kind of ruined the mood for it. I think for a lot of people, and if I was going for with the video that I was creating, because I was like, they're hyping it up a little bit too much, and I was like, instead of just how they're just displaying it in the critics and stuff talking about it, I was like, they probably need to tone down a little bit because people are going to have an overly hyped viewpoint of it. And I think that's what kind of felt when it comes to a lot of people who came to watch, because I think they had a bad score with the audience on Rotten Tomatoes, and a lot of people flooded my comments with hate stuff for it.
Really?
And I was like, it wasn't a bad movie. Yeah, it wasn't a bad movie for me. And I talked to somebody else about it as well, and I was like, it wasn't a bad movie. There were some choices that I wish they would have changed. And a bad movie
Definitely.
whatsoever. I feel like it's way more hate on it than I think it needed to be. Cause I like everyone I thought did a good job with the movie. Um, yeah, I don't understand the exact hate for it, but there's a couple of things where I was like, I don't understand the hate for the movie.
I thought Long Legs was very well done, at least in certain well aspects. Number 6 on my list, I have the remake vampire movie of Salem's Lot actually on my list. This one kind of surprised me. I recently just maybe like a week ago I saw the trailer. Just I forgot about this movie honestly being out, and just kind of prepared myself for like Nosferatu and everything. I saw Salem's Lot on Max. It was a Max original horror film. Just the concept of like vampires taking over a whole town was just something fun. I still haven't unfortunately seen the original film, and this is for a Stephen King story that Salem's Lot is. Um, but I thought the story and I thought the acting was very well done in the film, and I love the casting that they did for it. Um, so I thought the casting helped the story a lot also with it. And then the vampire was interesting, almost Count Orlok like, but definitely different. But I will say the only criticism I have is a bit of the CGI use on the vampire. But overall, the story honestly had some pretty good jump scares that got me, and just I thought it was pretty well produced. So that's right there for my number
Yeah, that's
6.
one I have to see.
Yeah, this one was interesting. Max
I haven't
was
watched that one yet.
very much hyping it up, so I'm glad I got to see it before the end of the year. And at number 5 on my list is the Halle Berry horror film Never Let Go. This film I saw as a double feature with the film called The Substance, and the only time I would say I've ever did like a double feature like that. And what experience like seeing them back to back, like because different stories that they are. But Never Let Go being like a survival horror mixed with psychological stuff going on. Definitely a psychological horror film, I would say, more than it being survival. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this film kind of keeps you guessing on what's really going on, and with Halle Berry's character and then the two boys, and phenomenal acting from them, I'll say. Uh, but this film, like, it kept you guessing on what's really going on, if there's really creatures in this world, and not, and a little spoilers, I guess, but not until like the very last moment of this film, it's like it's either if it you can believe it or not, I guess, because of it being part of like still psychological stuff, but the way like it's pretty much like Halle Berry was kind of like right the entire time, and that's shown like just the final, very final second of the film, and it's like, wow, this whole time we're maybe thinking as we're going, maybe this is real, oh maybe this is not actually going on, but then just keeps switching us around in the plot twists. And this film just, I thought, did it very well with the cinematography and everything. And then seeing Halle Berry in a horror film.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that one
snake
was a
people.
pretty good film to me. I want to say like some of the stuff is like I wanted to pinpoint down of what exactly how stuff came about.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I was like, there's moments that she talked about that I believe is how the thing came to the woods or whatever from the city, because I think that's what happened with it. And it's a lot of just interesting stuff with the film when it comes to the psychological stuff. It's another one that just keeps you guessing and keep you wondering. And I like when a movie makes my brain work. And
Yeah.
It really did do that as far as how they were telling the story.
Number 4, yes, is Alien Romulus. Alien Romulus is like an interquel in between Alien and Aliens, and this film I was very skeptical at first on really wanting to see, because I wasn't really stoked about like a whole cast of like 20-year-olds for an Alien film. So, but the overall end result, I wasn't dissatisfied at all. Like, I really did enjoy how this film also tried to give a whole lot of little Easter eggs to us. A big one I will say is Ripley showing up in the film. If you did not know, the little shuttle that she escapes on with Jonesy the cat at the end of the first movie shows up twice in Romulus in 2 different spots, pretty much confirming that Ripley was essentially on the Renaissance space station in Romulus. And I thought that was an interesting little Easter egg that is you gotta find in the movie. But this film, the horror, I thought, as it tries to connect with the previous series, with like Prometheus, the prequels, and trying to also being a story almost as also being in a way a sequel, an interquel with the Alien. The film just gave a lot of new things and a way of like just I don't want to say like claustrophobic, but it's the limited time that they have to do all the stuff that they're doing before just pretty much impending doom. And of course, having creatures on board, these aliens, that they're the ones pretty much responsible with unleashing upon themselves, but for better purposes, but that turns out tragic for them, sadly. But Alien Romulus, though, like, I thought is a good addition to the Alien series, and just out of last year, just horror wise, like one of the best probably experiences I had in the theater. But that one is definitely my number 4. But and the cinematography, that one, I hope that film gets nominated for something like that.
Yeah, that one was a really, really good one. It's been a good while since we've seen a good alien movie.
So yeah, like I enjoyed Covenant quite a bit more than I guess other people did, but for a film that felt like one of the like original films, like this one tried to get that formula. At my number 3, I have Cuckoo. This is a film with Hunter Schafer and Dan Stevens as pretty much the antagonist for this film. This film is a film that kind of tries to make you think it's a psychological film, but then it kind of turns into a weird, like almost creature feature slasher, a little mix of all sorts. But the one thing I'm very mad about the marketing is the marketing said this film was supposed to be a body horror film. And there was very to little real like body horror, like stuff I would consider like body horror happening in this film. Just very weird creature stuff. But I thought the music choice was very well done, and just from start to finish, like I was pulled into the film. Like I was not bored once, and just the whole suspense of this creature when it does show up. And the thing that got me the most that the marketing hid is how this creature uses its screech, and this having it pretty much its screech create time loops and just distortions for whoever is hearing. Like that's something that threw me off in the film every time it was happening. Like this film had some interesting things that they're doing, especially with it being from Neon. Like they've come out with a lot of interesting films. Like they're pretty much like they're trying to be A24, or at least compete with their films with like indie styleness. But at Cuckoo, like this film, like I was very well pulled into it and just intrigued by the story. And then Dan Stevens, just his accent, I know it was such a weird accent that he was trying to play, like a German accent, but it was just him trying to be this I wouldn't say cunning, but just a bit manipulative of a villain. Just weird little stuff, but I liked how they played everything out in the end, and especially with the creature in the third act, at least with what they were trying to do, at least trying to. But I wish they did show a bit more, but hopefully more comes out of it if there is.
Right? Yeah, I have a whole bunch of theories on Cuckoo, and then uh, I've in my review video, I made a whole bunch of comparisons when it came to because I was kind of like Cuckoo with the cuckoo bird, and also how the definition and stuff works when it comes to the actual terms that they're using.
Yep.
So I was like, it was very much interesting because I like comparing all of that into the film, and I thought they did an excellent job with just displaying that with what was happening with these creatures. I would say very much enjoyable.
Dan Stevens being this, just trying to preserve these creatures and just preserve. I forgot what the actual word is when someone tries to preserve. Just a very interesting, compelling villain, and in a way, and like I said, he was an Abigail also as a pretty much like you were mentioning. He was an Abigail. He was pretty much a little bit antagonistic in that one, also. And then he was in Godzilla Kong: The New Empire this last year. And that one's monster film in that genre, and he's doing some interesting stuff that I'm curious what he does further. And then Hunter Shaver, give her props for the indie work she does. And at number 2 on my list, I have A Quiet Place Day 1. This film had me going. I was avoiding every type of spoiler I could for this film, every type of marketing except for like the trailer that I already reacted to for YouTube. And this film, actually seeing it, like I was on edge. My main thing for the cat not to die, essentially, is I'm always going for. I'm like, this cat better not die. This cat better not get injured. Like, if anything, like this is the one thing that has to make it to the end of the film. And I'm not going to say any spoilers because I think, honestly, that is one of the biggest things that I think anyone going into that film going into is them wondering if the cat lives. So I won't say if it does or not, but this film had me going. Had me going, for sure. But the experience in the end, and Lupita Nyong'o, her acting as just this cancer patient, terminally ill, and in this world where now it's post-apocalyptic, and now she's a person who's very just spiteful on life, unfortunately as her character is a little bit. And the only thing that gave her a little comfort is her cat, Frodo, which I love the Lord of the Rings reference there for the cat. But like this story just combining all these different things and having it being thrown at her, and this being of course also a prequel to the first two Quiet Places, I thought this was way done better as a story. I know a lot of people praise the first part one, as just because of the actual suspense of being quiet, but this one I thought just the overall having so many people in New York as the setting, and then her as this just dying woman in this city full of aliens and trying to just hold on to her cat and trying just to get a damn slice of pizza. Like, this film just had it going for me, and really good experience. I saw it on TV, but really good movie I thought over the first two movies. And overall, like comparing to all the other horror films, I thought this one was really good. Like, even though it's like actiony sci-fi also mixed in, this I thought just the way I was feeling during the film had me going. Like, I was tearing up so much. Like, I won't forget that. That's just a really good movie, I thought. I can't wait to get my own copy, hopefully. Yeah, that was my number 2. And last
movie.
Yeah, just Loopy. I like her in horror movies. Like when she was in Us, like she's really good there. What else was she in recently? Like live action. She was in a movie, like a zombie movie, for like Hulu a couple years ago, and that was really good.
Is she the one with the kids?
Yep. It has Josh Gad, or that actor.
There's Cookies or something like that. I forgot what it was called.
Cootie, that's a different one that deals like zombie kids. Little Monsters, or that something. Phenomenal acting from her. Number 1 on my list, I have The Substance. The Substance for me, I saw as a double feature, I was saying earlier, with the film Never Let Go, and what a film to like go into after seeing like Never Let Go. Because just the different genre and horror switching into. This film is supposed to be like a weird like combo of like Reanimator and just beauty standard films, mixing it with body horror, of course, which the body horror, that third act scene, gosh, if I'm not mistaken, they beat the record for the most amount of blood used in a film, beating Evil Dead 2013 for the most amount of blood used in a film, like fake blood. And this film, just wow, what an experience. A lot of interesting just stuff with it. I finding it a very interesting, like it feels like a newer genre of sorts, or just a genre that hasn't been named, but horror that deals with beauty and beauty standards. It's been coming out more recently. There's a new film that I saw you did a reaction not too long ago for like a new Shudder film coming out that's like a Korean film that's dealing with like beauty standards and stuff and horror. And this film kind of gave me some of those vibes, but also like the film called The Neon Demon, almost. A whole bunch of just like, it's a weird psychological aspect also of it with beauty standards. It's all psychological. Grafted, yeah.
Very interested in that movie.
But yeah, just the way they did the film, the horror was very good when they were doing it, and keeping it well done in between the, I don't know what, like the just normal parts of the film, I guess. A lot of the film was a bit comedic also, I will say, very comedic, and I don't know if they were trying to expect certain scenes to turn out the way they did, but they did. But this film just had it going, from just the acting from Margaret Qualley, and then Demi Moore, and then Dennis Quaid, which is a quack. Just what a wacky character he was playing. But this film just, I think there's only 2-3 other people in the theater, and once those credits started rolling, those people had some opinions on what they just saw. But I think I enjoy this one way better, more. This don't think I would put as like my top film of 2024 of like all films, but definitely for horror, this is my definite like top film. Just the way they shot this film, and I don't know the studio too much who did it, but it's called like Mubi, and they have like a streaming service, which I guess the film did really good when it came out on streaming for that. But oh my gosh, just what a film, or just on the story, the horror of just aging and just acceptance and just being yourself in a way. It's such a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, recently watched it not too long ago.
What a weird film. Hopefully it goes on DVD, I hope, and isn't just gonna be on streaming, or maybe a Criterion Collection or some sort of like DVD company gets a hold of it. But yeah, this film made it for my top of the film, and interesting stuff, I would say, especially with the whole list here. But this one definitely, I think, made it my top, just with the acting and just that third act, man. That was unforgettable.
Yeah, it was really interesting. It was on my top 10 at first, but I did like it a lot, and I like those voices. It's another one that like does a lot of voices. I applaud it for that a lot.
Yeah.
Again, like you stated, it feel like the genre was new, even though it's like the horror has been done.
Yep.
Especially with change in some monsters or whatever. But I thought they did an excellent job with it. It was some things that frustrated me a lot with the characters.
Oh, I felt some frustration.
Purpose was to frustrate people in certain points, get them angry on a certain thing.
All right, yeah. So that looks like that is my top 10 horror of 2024.
I'm gonna compare, because I did like your number one. I think it would.
Yeah, my number one being The Substance.
Yeah. We both picked some stuff. It's just being together as far as just a comparison. It should be a major one for top 10. Place, we both had Cuckoo, Alien Romulus.
A Quiet Place Day 1 was on there, it sounded like also. We both had Immaculate in our honorable mentions, apparently also, in that little mini list.
So I would say in comparison, I would say probably a Cuckoo will probably be number one for both of us out of everybody's stuff of what we both like.
Right.
I think Cuckoo made it pretty high for both of us.
I would say, yeah, that one would be definitely the one, like the high one. And then interesting about like Immaculate, like we both kind of liked it, but just didn't make that certain feel for us.
Yeah.
Then yeah,
it was entertaining enough, but it was just a lot that was not there for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me also, like for my number 10 being I Saw the TV Glow, like I think I mentioned way earlier. Apparently I also have it in my worst horror list. Also, it's in my best and worst. I guess I kind of explained the worst, why I didn't like it when I was talking about, but it definitely made my worst list also. Not too bad for horror, I would say 2024 had.
But I have a video on some horror films that's going to be coming out. I've been trying to look for a longer list. The longer list of horror films that's coming out, besides the one from IMDb. I will be doing a video on that as well.
Of like
of upcoming horror films.
Upcoming horror films.
To get excited for.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's not gonna be too much. I believe there's gonna be quite a bit. Yeah, at least what I think I know announced, like Wolfman comes out this month, like major release. Next month, Hard Eyes. That's a slasher film coming out next month. And then pretty much almost like it seems like there's a horror film, almost a pretty good one coming out every month from what it seems like. And then some interesting from A24, like Death of a Unicorn.
I don't think did I? But yeah, we did. Cause I was like, did I react to that one already?
That's the Jenna Ortega and like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I was trying to remember it for a second, cause I was like, that's something weird, and then it's like, yeah. For some reason, it reminded me of, what was that, the Kangaroo movie that came out last year, 2024. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet,
Talk to Me.
But that one was like the kangaroo one. It's like an evil kangaroo.
Evil kangaroo. Interesting.
In a town. Yeah.
Interesting. That sounds fun.
I forgot what it was called. I did a reaction on it, but I just don't remember the name of it. But I have it saved to watch it at some point on the list, but I just haven't tried to check it out yet. Right. There was a kangaroo one. That's what it kind of reminded me of. But I was like, this one's more like mythical creatures instead of just an actual real creature that you would see. So, yeah, because both of them were in the comedy realm. Like Death of Unicorn in that one.
I'll have to keep an eye out for that one then.
Yeah, looking forward to that one just to see. Yeah, I'm the same. I try to see some of the stuff Jenna Ortega does, because she does an excellent job with a lot of the characters and stuff that she plays.
Being Wednesday Addams.
Looking forward to the Addams Family. I'm definitely looking forward to the Addams Family coming up.
Yeah, people aren't too happy with Lady Gaga being casted.
I heard about that, and I was like, I don't know why.
She's replacing what is her name? Gwendolyn. She's the actress who played pretty much the principal in the Addams in Wednesday, and what happened to her in the finale.
Oh, yeah.
She's replacing her as like the new principal.
That's fair. I don't think Lady Gaga does a bad job. No, I don't understand like some hate when it comes to actors.
Yeah.
So the recent one that I could never understand is Top. He's a South Korean actor. He's in Squid Game. He got a lot of hate in South Korea for playing the character he plays. I was like, why do y'all hate him so much?
I'll say just also the extra hate from when him doing Acolyte. People didn't like that.
I'm like, man. But, yeah, it's part of the game, I guess, when it comes to the public figure. But I can never understand the hate much when it comes to certain actors and stuff. But
people do their work in the end. If they do a bad job, they do a bad job. If they do a good job, they do a good job. It's going to always depend on just, I guess, the outcome of it, the entire thing.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you planning on doing as far as any feature videos and stuff you have coming out for to look forward to?
For this, just a whole bunch of more reactions. Just trying to get my list caught up. I'm always getting just so much trailers come out and just adds on to the list. So always trying to, at least now, try to keep myself caught up. Then going to try to rework on what I want my Patreon to be like. And then a couple more reviews for some movies, I guess.
Awesome. Fantastic collabing with you. I enjoyed the conversations and lessons of movies. Don't have that many people to have like good conversations and stuff with.
Right, I get you. This was great though. It was.
We can do another.
Definitely in the future. Plan out some more upcoming good videos. I'll say game. I'll say like Fortnite and some stuff like that.
That would be fun.
For sure.
Sweet.
Everyone, that was our top 10 horror 2024 lists and our comparison between the two. So if you did like all of that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and leave all your comments. We would be interested in knowing your 2024 lists as well, what you did not like, what you did, and the stuff you maybe just did not get a chance to see that you just want to talk about. So hit that like button, like I said, and thank you for tuning this channel, and make sure you check out the Chipmunk170 link in the description and tune in to more, and take care everybody.